us for a living, right? And we promise we won't take notes.
What camera are you using?
It's a shit one. It's
a mic you got.
It's an NX30.
Yeah, okay.
It's a shitty old thing.
So, Terry Hobday, TDH Media.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast with me, the amazing Simon Burridge.
And me, Rachel Burridge.
Are you amazing?
No.
TDH Media. Here he is, the old guy.
We promise we
Nothing,
won't.
not at all. There are no rivals in this industry, just colleagues and friends.
Well,
if I put it up, I know it's going to fall over.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
How you doing? You all right?
Good, mate. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Rach.
Terry, TDH Media. God,
Yes.
It's really loud in my mic today, so we're all up for it.
It's probably my laptop, mate, to
No,
be
you're
fair.
fine. No, you're fine. It's everyone. Right, before we start, do you know about the sign?
I have seen the videos. I'm waiting. Unfortunately, I'm right underneath it. So,
No, it won't hit you.
are you sure?
It'll hit the chicken.
Okay, yeah. No, I've seen the.
How long
I've
do you
seen
reckon?
Wait. Ask questions first. Have you put new tape on it?
I'm saying 4 minutes.
Oh, it's saying 4 minutes. That's not a
4
bad
minutes.
shout. I put two or three new bits of tape on it.
Okay.
Today's sponsors are DiGiorgio Properties, your premier choice for expert building solutions. From concept to completion, trust them to turn your dreams into a reality.
Visit their website today at DiGiorgiosProperties.com.
DiMedici Associates, chartered structural and civil engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on DiMediciAssociates.com.
Right at Home Medway, providers of safe and trusted quality care for adults in the comfort of their own home. Whether you need companionship, medication assistance, personal care, live-in care or more, we've got you covered. Visit rightathome.co.uk/Medway or call them on 01634 979 000.
It's fingers crossed.
So for's not that bad. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you, man.
Good to- So Terry is a videographer and photographer, just like us.
Yeah.
We met you 10 years ago. Did you know
Is that like long? I'm at 10 years.
We
Is
met
that
you 10 years ago,
long?
I think. 2014, and you
our
won
first one.
the wedding awards. We met you,
Yep.
and I'd been going 10 years, but sort of in the darkness. I didn't really connect with other videographers or anyone in the wedding industry. I just did a couple here and there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I bumped into Raf from Apollo. Fun.
Everyone knows, right?
And he went, make me a video for the wedding awards. I said, what are you even talking about? I said, don't know what the wedding awards. I said, no, mate, because I just film weddings as they come. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really into it. It wasn't full-time weddings. He said, come to the wedding awards. And that's when I met you. Table of 20.
That was when TDH was a little bit different then. Yeah, that we were a slightly loud table at the Kent Wedding Awards. I
loved it.
And we turned up just us two like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was, well, we kind of, as you know, it was always in November, wasn't it? So it was towards
Christmas
the end.
Day.
Christmas, yeah, exactly that. It was my opportunity or the business's opportunity to take the guys out.
Say thank you for your hard work.
Because when TDH was at its peak, and let's not get into the pre-pandemic stuff, but pre-pandemic, for all of us in the industry, life was pretty cool, but when you get to November, towards the end of the wedding season, you're tired. You've just got through. September's still a busy month in the industry. October it dips down a little bit, but you're tired and stuff. So we did treat it as our Christmas party, and because of where it was held at the it was Ramada, wasn't it? The Ramada Hotel. We all stayed the night as well. So yeah, we were loud, and we did have a good time.
One of the girls was going out of a bloke from Eastenders.
She was. She was. He came along for one.
Yeah, we all had a photo with him.
Yeah, he was there. Nice
and
fella.
that was when Barry
held it. Barry held it. Now, there's actually a really weird story there. So one of the guys, I don't know if you remember him, Chris, used to work for me. We always used to get to the Kent Wedding Awards early, right? Okay, so check into our rooms, maybe have a couple of drinks pre-ceremony, just to get into the mood, kind of thing. And we were sitting there, right? And Chris turned around and said, wouldn't it be funny if we had Barry from Eastenders this year as our host, right?
Just randomly.
This is not
Because Chris won't tell anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to swear. Is this monetized?
You can swear.
No bullshit, right? Okay, like he sat there and the guys from TDH will
Let me
back
hold you
up
there.
this, yeah.
If you swear, can't you monetize it?
I don't really know. Well, I watch a lot of podcasts, and the ones that swear and have
within the first 5 minutes or
I think
something?
it's something like that. Yeah, you can be demonetized.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you were telling us that, weren't you?
Yeah. So bollocks
So
shit.
I'll just put a really long intro on.
The really long one. Maybe a wedding video. That'd be good. And we were sitting there in the bar at the Ramada, and guess who walked in?
No way.
Barry
so
from
just
EastEnders.
randomly.
Honestly, you can ask the guys from TDH. There was no lies. He sat there. Chris said, and wouldn't it be funny if this year we have Barry from EastEnders?
Was it the timing thing? Did he literally come in after he said it?
Literally, it was like minutes afterwards. It was the most freakiest thing.
With a light shining behind him, like, ah.
Chris is being known for coming up with mental thoughts, and
that
was a good one.
out.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, it was
Wicked.
a good one. Yeah.
So when did you first start winning or go into them? Because I don't know how old they were.
Well, so the first one, and it was much smaller, and it was.
It's just going to keep rocking them up. Going to have a full collection of it.
So the first one was the Kent Walden Awards. It was their first year.
Oh, right.
And I believe it was 2011.
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay.
And it was smaller, but they still did well and really had to move. It was at the Ashford International, so it wasn't even the normal Ramada Mercure in Maidstone, and it was small, less categories. There was less people there, obviously, because it was the first one.
Oh, now it's like photographers with like AB negative blood types and stuff, isn't it?
Listen, I'll stay positive. It was it was their first year, and
So
wedding venue with the best sycamore tree is.
Well,
how many categories were there then at the time?
I can't remember. It was time it. That was 4 minutes.
That wasn't bad.
Right now, and I want danger money.
And it hit the chicken.
I think it was like like now, and rightly so. It should be, because there are different style venues. Before it was
100%.
It was best wedding venue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So now it's got
the camping burrows type stuff.
Yeah, boutique.
Yeah.
Something different. You've got manor. Yeah. You've got
It's worthy of having different categories.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I've not put this on silent
You
because I never
can't
do.
compare somewhere like Cooling Castle with Penshurst Place because they're in different leagues.
Totally. I mean, even far ends of the spectrum, I've recently just shot. I've never shot there before. Just recently shot at the Barn in Tunbridge Wells, which is like literally it's
quite new, isn't it?
It's well, I don't know how long it's been around, but it's a really nice boutique pub / restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, right, and it's.
I think I've done it.
Yeah, it's a really nice little place, And then, can you compare that to
Leeds Castle?
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. There are two totally different venues with two totally different types of client. Very, very different type of client. So yes, I think the categories have worked, and I think that it is right to have different styles for different awards for different.
One thing
style
for
of
Chris
venues.
Milton though, you give him some feedback and he will
They're
adjust.
great. They're pervin.
They are.
Yeah.
Love
listen,
them to bits.
you're
Chris and Karen.
Yeah. I've never seen them not positive.
No.
And I know that working marketing and it's part of their job and everything else, but even the next morning after the Kent Winning Awards and everyone's hanging, they're not. They're still like, excuse me, they're still this super positive couple. They've done really well, I think what these awards do is twofold, maybe three really. The first is obviously it's good for the people winning them. It makes them feel that all their hard work they've worked for is given recognition. Yep. That's the first important thing. But I think the second thing it does give security to brides and grooms.
Absolutely.
Right? It lets them know that, hang on a minute, they must be half decent at what they're doing. They must know what they're doing. They must know someone know the industry, how it works, and
it's
everything
like a
else.
seal of approval.
Yeah,
really.
it is.
that
We've-
bad?
We've earned weddings from people seeing that on that. We used to have,
100%.
have it on the back of our car, and I know for a fact someone's seen that.
100%. So whether you agree with award ceremonies, because every industry's got one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I've shot award ceremonies like you have, I'm sure, for best refuse company, right? Okay, right. And best recycler, best, use of plastics, renewables. You know, it is an industry within industry. Awards industries are exactly that. I get it, right? I'm not a sucker. I understand what it's all about.
Everyone needs a bit of praise, though, doesn't they?
But what it does do is it breeds confidence into clients, and it makes you feel good, right? Okay, even just getting to that final when.
That's a wonky star. What's happened to that one?
That was the drunk night.
Did you drop it?
I think we did, to be fair. It would have been the first time. And as you can, that's 3 Christmas parties. Right, it's not even 3 wedding awards, it's 3 Christmas parties with 3 stories attached to each individual one, believe me. So listen, I'm fully aware that the awards industry, full stop. I understand it's an industry, right? But if it works for the client and it works for the people entering and the people winning, then carry on. Carry on.
Do you think they should have a wedding photography and videography category?
No. No.
Separate, you mean?
No, together.
joint.
One together.
Nah.
So you have videographers,
Yeah.
you have photographers, and then you have ones that do both.
No, I
So,
don't think so.
as someone who does both, right, I respect both mediums, and they are 2 totally different things.
They are.
I think that there is a space for both. I think there's a third approaching that we all know that's coming, and it's the dreaded content creator stuff that's coming.
Seen that,
So what is the difference? What technically is the
No,
difference?
listen, that's not true. It's a different. Again, it's another
different
medium.
approach.
Yeah, it's not encroaching. It's not. I don't mean it like that. It's not encroaching on videography, and it's not encroaching on photography. It's another medium.
Yeah.
It's the behind the scenes stuff of what's going on at a wedding, and I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of my time now at weddings is filled with other people's social media.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's content creators are basically to do your social media for
They're
the day.
doing what your mates, what the bridesmaids would have normally done.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Yeah. I think there's a professional side to it as well,
Yeah.
and I think that if anyone applies themselves to a profession, then we need to give them the respect
Of course.
of what they do. I don't know enough about it. Right, I'm a little bit old school.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Riley.
Like I say, so the early days of it was the brides just doing it themselves, those bouncing things.
Like boomerangs.
So
and
what
stuff
they
like
would
that.
do now is they just jazz it up, so it's a bit more professional.
Yeah. But I do think because of the world we are now in with social media and with the generations that are coming through, including my own daughter who's 22 this year, I'm fortunate enough to see
the progression
and the change that that generation is going through in terms of social media and everything else. So it's gonna happen. If there's one thing this industry, like every industry, it doesn't keep still, does it?
No.
Right? It doesn't keep still. Like whereas
Anything.
I used to shoot on tapes before, and then used to produce on DVD, and then that changed from that into cards, and that turns into supplying as digital and streaming.
Yes.
But that all happened quite quickly, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I think DVD had a longer shelf life. I mean, listen, they're still selling them, mate.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like people are still buying
the
that
software.
that 720, 7.6 resolution.
Yeah,
right?
and the software's drifting away from it. I don't think mine even does it now.
Yeah, I mean, Macs. I mean, even Apple they don't support Blu-ray burning.
No.
Right, you've got to have I've got an old Mac that I've kept
Just for that.
burning.
for burning blues in Encore because, the new format, new Macs, they don't support burning blues. So, but if we're getting into technical stuff now, we all know that as soon as you put it online, it gets compressed to hell, right? And there's nothing you can do about it, right? But as soon as I put it on my Blue and I stick it in a PS5, it's going to come across exactly the way I wanted to shoot it,
Because we've still got an old VCR to DVD player just in case, haven't we?
Yeah, I still do. I do tape conversion.
Well, I go to you when I want
what did we have?
film. When I want a cine to convert.
Yeah, I still. So this is exactly my point. It's funny when I speak to clients, like when I give them their final copies, I say to them that I'm supplying you a nice streamable version now. It won't be online forever because I've only got a finite amount of server space, but I'll give you a couple of years of watching it online. But straight away, also, you can download a version. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to send you a Blu-ray. Right? Okay. I still like to send a physical. I'm old school. A physical media copy. Right now, they laugh when I say it. I say, look, go and buy a Blu-ray player for 50 quid right, at your wedding fund. Right. Okay. Right. Because in 25 years' time, no one knows. I mean, Apple Vision's a great example. No one knows how we're going to be consuming media. Yeah. So take that Blu-ray I've sent you, go and buy a Blu-ray player for 50 quid, go and buy a HDMI cable, get a Tupperware box, right? Get a Tupperware box, right, okay? Wrap it all up, right? Stick it in the loft. Right? Just stick it in the loft, right? Okay. If you haven't got a PS5, you're not going to watch the Blue. I get it. But if you have got one, then it's going to stay out. But if you haven't got one, go and buy a Blu-ray player for 50 quid, because I can tell you right now, the technology, even digital formats, you know, we're all on MPEG-4, H.264 coding for blues. H.265 is for the video online now. H.256, H.257. You know, like who knows? You know,
that's right.
And
like you put it on a USB stick for the back of their telly. You've got to stage around the 4 gig sort of size. Yeah. Well.
The other thing is as well,
some of the tellies won't play them,
and connections change, right, as we all know, right? So we've just gone. The world is basically transferring over right now to USB Type C. Okay, right. Yeah. The world is literally, because the European,
even Apple doing it, isn't they?
Because the European Union is forcing them to do so, but they are doing it. Okay, so that is another old connection, or I/O, if you want to, that's now gone. Right. Okay, so if you had that USB stick, and we are then 25 years in the future, how are you going to watch that USB stick?
Yep.
You know? How are you going to watch it?
Yeah.
So, I remember having, so it was just coming through 2000, so that's 25 years ago. I had 15 gig on my PC.
Yeah, my
mate went, that's far too much. You'll never use all that.
Yeah, my storage now, because obviously what's happened with TDH now, it's just me. I've scaled it down. My storage alone, I think I've got 70 terabytes just in the studio, and that's all RAID, right? So it's actually 140. Yeah, so because I mirror everything when I back everything up. So this is the thing then. So again, technology, as things change, as resolutions change, you do more storage.
Are you as bad as me? I still keep everything I've ever shot.
Mate, I'm
even
a holder.
Even in RAW.
I'm a holder.
I've still got tapes in the garage.
Yeah. So I mean, a great example. A couple of weeks ago, got someone message me. They had lost their Blu-ray, didn't do the Tupperware box. Lost their Blu-ray, and they'd lost someone. And they wanted some footage for funeral.
Yeah, exactly. I did with a husband once.
Yeah. So they're like, "Tell, have you still got it?" And so up until recently, I still keep a copy of the blues, but I used to keep all the masters of the files on blues, right? Okay. Then the master DVD, the master Blu-ray, and the photos all on master Blu-rays. Took ages to back up. But I had the security of knowing that if the drives went down, or there was a fire, or whatever, I knew
that you still had
that I had
something
within a week. I could be up and running again, and everything would be sweet. And fortunately, I had the disc. I could pull it out, and you know, I mean, that's why we're in the job, is it not? Like memories. That's why we're in it, to create memories for people.
Absolutely.
And for them to relive them, and you know, it was.
Well, I always say to people, you know, we're married, not me and you, me and Simon.
Not yet.
But I always say I love watching my wedding video, because it's got my daughter in, who was 18 months old. It's got my nan in. It's got your dad in, and people that aren't there now. And you think, oh God, you remember this, remember that. Photos are lovely. I'm the photographer, so I know. But photos are lovely, but they're not
living and breathing.
Living and breathing and joking.
No, and again, that goes back to the two different the two different formats
Yeah.
and how I think they both emit similar but different emotions.
Absolutely.
I offered
Yeah.
360 for a bit as well, but it's just not quite there yet.
Yeah, listen,
And the file sizes.
well, it's that, and it's the way to watch it. I mean,
YouTube compresses that. Big time.
yeah. I mean, I think
It will get better.
100%. I mean, Apple Vision for me is something very, 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 very interesting.
Right. Okay.
Especially because of the spatial video and spatial photos as well.
Right,
Okay. But you're going to have to watch it on an Apple Vision.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that
Describe Apple Vision. I don't know too much about it.
So it's I think Ready Player One, bro. Is the best way I can explain.
Oh, right.
it.
Okay.
So Apple are as they do with everything, they name it into a spatial computing.
Right.
Okay. So it's basically what Meta are doing,
I've got
and a
one
few
now.
and a few others are doing, but
I just won Wimbledon, by the way.
I can tell, man. Yeah.
I did there.
And he hit the ceiling
I can
twice.
tell.
Put my hand through the ceiling.
So it's Wii Sports on crack. Yeah, it's basically yeah. Listen, it's something very interesting. I don't know where it sits at the moment in terms of usability. I think at the moment it's a glorified kitchen designer piece of software.
Yes.
I think I've seen some recent shots that Porsche are using it in showrooms and stuff like that. I think that's quite cool. I think doctors are using it as well. They're using it for operations and stuff like that. What interests me, and I haven't seen the footage yet, but from what I've heard, the footage from spatial video shot on Apple Vision, literally you are in it.
You are, I guess,
You
on your
are
own
Walk
way.
around in it.
So basically it whatever you're recording, it plays back.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So it's not quite.
So it's literally what I used to do with 360.
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's because of the amount of cameras they've got on it as well.
Okay.
So if I'm correct in thinking, I think there's at least 2, possibly more cameras, so they can control the depth of field.
Right.
So like a true stereoscopic.
Right, okay.
I think Avatar, 2 cameras actually merged together. I think they actually did one on
yeah.
top with mirrors, didn't they? That's the way they actually did it. But
Yeah.
it's that.
See, I've got a GoPro 360. It has 2.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you spin it round, you're
You've
always seeing a lens.
So this is actually stereoscopic.
Right,
So
I see,
think true Avatar.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
True stereoscopic 3D.
Yeah.
And it's native. It's actually not done in post. It's actually shot in that. And then all the processing power within Apple Vision records it to a file. But then you need an Apple Vision to watch it back.
God, as soon as I think of that,
How
big's that file? Yeah.
There's that.
As soon
You're
as you
talking.
said
because it's going to be at least 8K, and it's probably more than that.
No, it's all 4K.
Oh, right,
It's all
okay.
4K. The screen resolution is supposed to be something amazing. Imagine
Right.
you've got 2 4K screens this far from your eyes.
Right, okay.
How that helps your eyes, I don't really know.
But it does with me. Like if I'm playing Oculus and I've got no glasses on, even though it's right next to me, the vision is still shite. I have to put my glasses on for it to be better.
Me too. But the great thing about these Apple Visions is that you can actually get Zeiss lenses built into them. So you're giving your prescription. And when you buy
amazing.
God.
they have a prescription.
That's unreal, isn't
That's
it?
pretty. That's pretty. I should work for Apple. Give me a job. They put a prescription to match your. No, I wear.
We're going to Bluewater. We'll be selling phones in the Apple store.
The problem is I wear varifocals. Do you know what I mean? So how that works, I don't really know. But I'd really like to see what the footage looks like. But the problem is playback.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a phone. Right, so me streaming a beautiful hour and a half long wedding video to you is simple. Me turning up to a wedding looking like Cyclops from X-Men, walking around you, because I've got to wear it. You have to wear it.
It's a wearable thing.
Yeah,
right.
you have to wear it to shoot it.
Right, okay.
Okay, so you can imagine, like, I'm literally I'm on a comic book freak, so that's what the Cyclops X-Men reference was.
Right.
But you're literally walking around, dude, and you're walking around your wedding.
it.
Oh my God, if you trip up, you've got that filmed.
No, you can see through it. That's the great thing about it. You have full peripheral vision.
Yeah, but whatever motion you make.
Well, what they've done, they're getting into it now. So they've built. So there is this. It's delay, isn't it? Okay, so for me moving your head there, to the camera recording that information,
so like a gimbal type,
feed it into a processor, and then displaying that information.
Okay, it works out.
There's a delay there in doing it. Apple have created a specific chip called, I think it's called the S1. I think it's called.
He's more nerdy than we are.
I'm a little bit geeky. And they've built this chip called the S1, which is built specifically to improve the latency between the image being recorded, the image being processed, and the image being displayed.
Right. Okay.
So you think about that. You're talking about milliseconds of time. Yeah. So what the Apple Vision does is you look like Cyclops out of X-Men, but you'll have this whole thing on that wraps around your head. You have they have pass through, as they call it, so you can see everything that's going on. Right. Okay. And then you're shooting in 3D. You're shooting in 3D. Now, I think there's times for it where it'd be cool. Like I think the first dance, for example, as a close up, you get a nice depth of field. How the depth of field works, I don't know. Can you adjust it? I don't know, kind of thing. But if you get a nice, 3D image of the bride and groom doing a first dance, listen, a confetti shot. Can you imagine that? A confetti shot in stereoscopic 3D? That'd be pretty cool.
I had thoughts of making a mini 2-pack stage. Do you know what I mean? Of a first dance. Do you know what I'm on about? Glass at an angle, 45 degrees, projecting down. Yeah. Like fish tank size.
Yeah, listen,
do you know what I mean?
Like you, I'll film anything, dude. Do you know what I mean? So, like...
You don't know what we're talking about. No. They redid 2-pack.
It's a hologram.
Yeah, it's a hologram.
I like the ABBA.
So all that hologram is a stage with a glass or a film of some sort going at 45 degrees. And then they shoot down on it. And that 45 degrees creates the vision that is literally standing there in front of you. And I've seen lots of mini ones being created where you just put your phone on top of them. You've seen that before?
No, I haven't seen that.
Goldfish. So you get your phone and you put this glass sort of pyramid on top of your phone. And this goldfish
is similar to like a teleprompter, you know? Like you have that reflective glass that doesn't show in the lens, but it reflects up so someone
But I've always thought it'd be cool to have some sort of box that they just push play and their first dance is happening there, because it's ideal for a first dance because they're lit up and everyone else is reasonably dark, and that's what you need. You need literally nothing, like a black background with just them lit up in it for it to work properly.
I mean, it's going to work. It all depends on the shooting as well, doesn't it? You know,
yes.
And still to this day, one of my favourite type of weddings is a registry office and a working man's club, because they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
They're doing it because they love each other, and they're not doing it for the look how many flowers I've got, look all this kind of thing, they're doing it for the right reasons, and having an Apple Vision in a working man's club, would it really give it the effect that probably not, right? Okay, but if you was at somewhere that had centre stage bride and groom with spotlights on them and Raph banging out the dry ice like he does.
He loves that, doesn't he?
He's good at it. That's right.
I've got the dry ice. Got the dry ice. I've got the cannons. Got the cannons.
If different weddings, different things. It's. But I always keeping an eye on how things are developing, and Apple Vision being one of them. I don't think that's a wrong thing to do. Will it take off? I don't know. I think maybe on the business side of things it will, but consumer, I don't think it will.
But there must be a point where sort of like because obviously you want a backup, right? We all have to have backups. Where do you stop from going from Apple?
You got to have two.
Apple doing that, and then what? You're filming the day normally as a backup. You can't do that.
I think you'd have to have as a separate person, as a separate. Like everything, I think things are done slowly, aren't they? It's never
boom. It's never,
it's never bang. Here it is, kind of thing. So I think what you might do is, first of all, whoever's doing it, you've got to fork out a minimum of $3,000 for the device itself.
Yeah.
Right. So the same as what a decent camera is.
Yeah. Because we both use Lumix, don't we?
Yeah. My Lumix is 2.5. Yeah. My Canon R5 body only is 5. Do you know what I mean? So $3,000. If you're getting what you need out of it, is a nice bit of time. But you've hit the nail on the head. If you've got one, then you need two.
Well, if you're doing it properly,
you need two. So if it does go down,
you can.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's the magic bag. It's shit. Okay, let's go.
So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to go way back now.
Yeah,
so how did you get into this industry then? What inspired you to get into this industry?
Did you do anything beforehand?
Yeah. So this is where you laugh. I started off at Take a Break magazine.
Oh, right, yeah.
When I was 18
I think
years
my brother-in-law was in one of the cartoons.
I think we've all been in it, mate. It's a life story magazine, isn't it? You know, it was at the time. This is back in trying to figure it out. I think it was 92, 93. So I was 17, 18.
So you sort of did that sort of thing leading up, like GCSEs or A level, or what is
Yeah,
that
moving
now?
on.
Yeah.
So listen, education has never been my thing. I've always been.
If you like it, you'll go 100%.
Yeah, I've always been pissing about. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I liked my football. I liked my girls. I liked my going out. That was my thing when I was that age. I wasn't really interested in school. I loved creativity. I loved comic books. I loved film. For me, film is the most important thing in my life, probably creatively. If I don't watch at least a film or 2 films a day, something's wrong.
Really?
I'm terrible, dude. I'm terrible.
Really?
Even editing photos wise, it's white noise for me.
See, I do that.
Yeah,
I have
white
something
noise.
on in the background.
Yeah,
and
white
I'm
noise.
ready.
Doesn't
We've had
matter
the
what
full
it is.
season of Dexter on again.
Yesterday I was editing the photos, and because obviously the new Apes movies out today, I killed 3 of the Planet 1960s and 70s Planet Apes movies. Yes,
But like you said, it's background
white
noise.
noise.
It's
It's not, it does white
Yeah,
noise.
but if I'm doing it, if I'm on my phone and I'm watching something on telly, she gives me a bollocky.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. Yeah, that's
Video. The other thing as well.
I
Video.
thought you'd be on my side.
Yeah, that's
but-
only photo editing. Video
Yes.
editing. Video editing, I can't do it. Obviously,
Yes.
I've got to be in the
Of
zone.
course,
I've got to be
yeah.
concentrating. But when I'm photo editing, I like to have white noise. It used to be music, but I find that I can get in the zone creatively if I have something there that I'm in. Even if I've seen the film 57 times, if I see Aliens one more time, I think I'm going to go nuts. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's my favourite film of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. We're going off subject now, mate. But anyway, yeah, so Take a Break magazine, and I was in the post room. Right, okay, like
He was the post boy.
I was a post boy. I was a post boy, and there was at the time
Like
it was,
Secret of My Success. Remember that film?
I don't know about that, but I don't know about it was more Christmas parties again than anything. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, hello.
Here he comes.
Moving on. So yeah, and basically I was at the time there was Take a Break. There was Bella as well. I don't know if you remember your magazines from the 90s, and there was at the time TV Quick. And the magazine industry at the time was where you got all your information. There was no internet. Example, I didn't work from, unfortunately, but Nuts, Loaded, GQ, even all the Mac magazines, Mac User, Mac World, even the computer magazines. There was like Nintendo magazine, PlayStation magazine. If you wanted your information, it was via Spectrum.
I used to have Spectrum ones.
Yeah, get the tapes in, put them in, brother. I was there.
Mate, I've still got it.
There you go. So that was how you got information. So everything was magazine based. Yeah. And I worked in the post room. I think it was only a couple of years. And one of the I will always thank him actually, because he gave me my opportunity. His name was Spike, and he used to run Spike. Well, it was a combination of people. It was Spike and John Dale, who's the editor there as well. But anyway, they saw that I wanted to do more than be a postboy. Right, okay, so they basically took me under their wing there at the magazine, and they showed me the industry. Right, okay, ranging from, now I'm going back now, monochrome Macs, man. Right, okay. Well, I was using a black and white Mac. Right, that's how old I am. Right, okay, right. I learned about flat plans. I learned about advertising. I learned about fonts. I learned about graphic design. My seat was next to the fashion department, so I learned about photography, chatting up models. Just the magazine industry. Yeah, I made friends there that are still friends of mine now. My wife there, ex-wife there. I learned a lot there. And I was there for about 5 years, and I kept, I was, runner first of all, if you like photocopying, the stuff you do. Then my manager left, and they said, "What, do you want it?" And I went, "Yeah, I'll have it." And grafted, I'm not embarrassed to say
If it's something you love, then you give up.
Yeah, well, also I was young. I wanted to prove myself. I was 18, 19. I was running at the time, it was the puzzle magazines for Take a Break, right? Okay, so I moved from Take a Break into the puzzle magazines, right? And I was launching magazines. I launched a comic. It was one of my dreams. Yeah, it's called Cosmic, right? It was like, and the guy that done it used to work for Marvel. It was, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Whereabouts was this?
This was in Camden, man.
Right.
So like you can imagine, like I was living in Blackheath at the time. Not Blackheath, sorry. Lewisham, Catford, that sort of area. And used to commute into Camden. Listen, Friday nights or Friday afternoon.
It's a lifestyle.
I love that lifestyle.
Well, it was different to now, right? Okay, so basically what used to happen, not so much me, maybe sometimes, but you go to the pub.
On a Friday lunchtime.
Right? I think she knows what I'm talking about. And you didn't come back.
Or you used to come back, put
4 or 5 o'clock,
one
right?
email,
4
really
or 5
drunk.
o'clock, like everything's like that, bruv. Right? Okay? And you're like, not so much me, because I was production, because anyone knows in the production industry, you're the first in, you're the last out. It's just the way it works. Yeah. Okay, right? So I never really got that much into it, but there was me often, like you've got this 19-year-old kid shouting at 30-year-old geezers because they're smashed out their nut, and there's a layout that hasn't been finished, So I did that for 5 years, loved it, but I knew I couldn't progress anymore. I was hungry to learn more. Went into reprographics for 2 years, right? Which is colour separation for printers.
Right, okay.
So basically taking, it could be anything, let's say, an A4 leaflet, them giving it to us in no way printable state, like the graphics were not right and everything. So it was down to you to make it as good as you possibly could for colour separation to get it outputted. So I learned a lot about Photoshop and colour reproduction, retouching, airbrushing, all that.
See, do you know how I learned it?
All that AI stuff.
Do you know how I learned it?
Yeah, generative fill with Photoshop. Generative fill with Photoshop. Say it, go on.
No, I learned it by just winding my mates up, putting them on body with tits.
Great way of doing it. Yeah, it's a great way of doing it. It doesn't matter how you learn to do it. It's what you learn in the process of doing it. It was all
a wind up just for my mates, putting their head on tits.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, the thing is now, this generation coming through now, they've got it.
Just born with it.
Well, not even so much that, but the new AI features.
It's so easy.
Have you tried
and
that?
Scary at the same time.
And don't it get it wrong sometimes?
Yeah, but it gets it right a lot as well. I mean, especially the new generative fill stuff.
Yes.
In the AI stuff, and it's only going to improve. There is now a video version of it, which is for me is Shutterstock.
Yeah.
Basically shut down overnight.
Yeah.
That for me is petrifying. Shutterstock have been going right, unless they're doing live events. So this is where we feel we're kind of protected from it a little bit, is that AI cannot replace live event recording.
No.
Okay, it can't. It can improve it.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Post-edit.
It can't record it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that area we're covered.
But I've written comedies. I could just tell it the comedy, and it could come up with something. It come up with B-roll, certainly.
Dude, I shouldn't say it right, but your Kent wedding, they gave me a bell. We were celebrating TDH's 20th anniversary, and they said, we're doing a feature. We're going to do a feature. Can you write a 400-word magazine? I fucking did it.
Mate, all the time.
I literally jumped on there, bruv, and I went, can you write a 400-word magazine article for a wedding magazine about Terry Hobday,
TDH.
Managed director of TDH Media for 20 years, Kent winning award winner a couple of times. And
only 4 months.
And recommended supplier for blah 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 blah. It went.
Yes.
Now I read it and I went, right, okay, I'm going to change that. Sent it to her. She came back to me. She said nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right now, that is where
amazing.
For us, it is for copywriters.
The descriptions on these stuff on my podcast, it's all that.
Yeah,
I go, Toby came today, he's from TDH.
Yeah, even when
we spoke about this, we spoke about that. And it gives you a lot of spiel, but it's vague.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Which is perfect because you want people to still watch the bloody thing. You don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
It's perfect for it.
So I think it's called Sonus, which is the new OpenAI video version of video creation, where you can literally, it's prompt.
Is it free?
Well, at the moment it's tokens, I think it is. So what they'll do is
charge it up.
Well, to the big companies, they'll put it out to them first. So, but I mean, Adobe have already been working on it. They had a feature showing. It was crazy, man. They had some footage of this guy, and he had an open shirt, and he was coming down a staircase. But the thing that really petrified me is that he was underneath a tree, and the light rays were coming through the tree and
yeah.
causing shadows on him as he walked down the staircase. Right now, they jumped straight in and did a prompt and said, replace his shirt and tie, and put a tie on him. Right now, you can look this up and you can go and see it on YouTube.
And the same light rays coming through.
Went, processing. Obviously, sent it off to
OpenAI
OpenAI servers, pay for them tokens, right? Okay. And then it comes back, and the same footage came back. The shirt was there, the tie was there, but most importantly, the rays through the light, through the trees, were still there, and it had matched it.
Wow!
Now that
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's hard enough to do in a photo, right? Okay, let alone using prompt-based video manipulation. So I'm a little bit petrified by it. I'm a little bit excited by it. I think the medical industry's going to make massive leaps and bounds with it.
It's still going to require imagination, mate.
Yeah, it is going to. But I think that what you're going to see more of now, especially because I'm into film, I'm into it quite a bit. I think the effects houses are going to become either no more or they're going to become a lot less. Tyler Perry, the American producer in America, he was just about to push the button on that $800 million brand new studio in Atlanta the day before Sonus came out, which was the video creation. Stop.
Cancel it.
Yeah.
Cancel it. So, I'm excited by it. I think there's a place for it.
It's just us getting old, mate.
I think that has got a part of it, mate. It has. It really has.
It happened to all of them in the past when us.
Yeah, no, listen.
Us tossers came through with our digital cameras.
If you don't ride the wave, you get crushed by it. It's that straightforward, And we're doing it now, aren't we? Who'd have thought we would have been doing this as a podcast 5 years ago?
Exactly,
but I think they still, because I was taught, I was born into digital, so I learnt digital at university. But they still teach you the background. They still teach you how it got there, if that makes sense.
Did you ever do that, Tel?
I was,
Was you cutting?
Born in the 70s, raised in the 80s, raised in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? So, my dad had a film camera, when I was younger. Yeah. So, I remember, pressing the wrong button and the film just going...
and
my dad freaking out over a 24 or 36 exposure film. I mean, this is the thing. You kind of nailed it. I mean, digital has took away the risk.
Yeah.
A little bit, you can do other riskier stuff now, because you can do.
It's instant, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can
but it's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance, right? Imagine a wedding photographer back then in the day, right? He'd go and take photos. The risk is he hasn't got a clue what he shot until he takes a moment and develops. But
he needs.
It's a one-day job. It's a one-day job.
I'm bricking it just thinking about it.
It scares the hell out of me.
Bricking just.
But look at it like this way. Look at it this way. He takes it home, he develops it, he goes back to the wedding that day, hands on the photos, his day's done.
True. And listen, they probably only got from the day
about 20 photos.
Maybe listen. Let's say 3 rolls of film.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Maybe 4. Yeah. Right. Okay. 4
and they're all a couple of them are going to be matches.
Right. And what he's done. I mean, this is where the industry's changed. Right. Okay. So before, when I first started doing this job, the list of stuff to get shot in the morning was minimal, right? Okay. Did you get a shot of the dress?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did you get me getting in my car?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was probably it.
Now,
right,
do you get me handing presents to her?
Dude.
Could you get me?
I've done a full day's work even before I've left bridal.
That's the thing. See, what I'm saying is the balance.
That's my first croissant. Can you take a picture of it, please? And I get it. Listen, the industry has, like every industry, has changed. The time and the money that goes into a wedding day nowadays.
I think it's as well the inspiration. Like brides and grooms look at Pinterest, they look at Instagram, they want all this, and you think that's lovely, but that isn't your venue. That isn't your dress.
But every now and then you get a bride
fireworks in June.
Yeah. Every now and then you get a bride come up and go, look at the albums. How do you want the album? We do this storybook. She was like, oh, I thought it'd just be a picture.
Yeah, no, I still get that. Is it? The questions I'll get is for albums is it printed out and stuck into a book?
Because all they've seen is their mum and dad.
But that's still a style that's still quite cute. I like that. Okay, because you can.
We will mimic it. So it's printed on the page, but if you just want single ones,
I use a couple of print. I mean, Loxley, Bob's Books. I use we always the same ones, but they're actually the printing technology nowadays for printing in these books is pretty damn impressive. If you shoot right, edit right, and deliver right to them, what you see is pretty much what you get. They're pretty good at replicating the books and stuff. So I think that the industry's always changing, isn't it? It's always, and if you don't keep on top of it, then you are going to be
left behind.
Yeah, definitely.
So you enjoyed filming, graphic design, everything like that. What made you take the step to go, right, I've had enough of this, I'm going to go on my own now? So when I left the printing firm and I went into advertising. Right, I worked for an ad agency for 10 years. That's why his ad stuff's so good. So.
That's why I've got all that, mate. But I'm not on the suit side. On the clients working side, I was in the studio, and it was the start of the internet bubble. It was 97, 98, and every agency was looking for coders. They was looking for animators. They was looking for multimedia people. CD-ROM was big at the time. Where you used to build applications or like mini games and stuff like that. And I used to do that. I used to be a bit of a coder. I learned Flash action script in Flash, but JavaScript, HTML, encoding in terms of video shooting, codecs, all the stuff that all the clients don't want to know about. I just sucked it in, because I just love all that kind of stuff. And I did that for 10 years. And while I was there, I really got into my filming because I had my daughter. Yeah. Big shout out to Jess. I was literally filming her first shit, mate. If she did it, I filmed it,
To music.
There's tapes of her having a shit all in my garage. With the holding stuff. Listen, first time dads, you want to record as much as you can. Yeah. And at the time, my best friend at the time, he also had just had a baby the day before. Okay, right, Jess. So, and they're best friends. They were together last night. Jess and Liam. There you go. Shout out to Liam as well. And they've stayed friends their whole lives together. It's really, really nice. They've born the day apart. Yeah. And they've with each other last night. It's really nice. Really nice. Anyway, he was getting married. And I can't remember whether I offered or he asked. Probably I offered.
How long ago was this then?
Well, Jess is 22.
Same age as Jess, 21. She's 22 this year. So TDH was the business was 2003. So it had to be around that sort of 2002, 2003 time. And I said to him, look, as a wedding present, or I can't remember if he asked me, can I film your wedding? Can I film it? And I did it. And I'm talking iMovie, iDVD. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm talking, real basic encoding. I think the video could only be an hour long. It was shot on a handheld. I think it was a Sony flip screen. Oh, 725, 76 resolution. A free digital zoom, so it made it even worse looking when you zoom in. 4:3. 4:3. It was. I'm talking old school. Anyway, I shot it, gave it to him. And I think it was one of their friends, Beanie and Steve. I think it was. Shout out to Beanie and Steve. I think it was them next. I'm not entirely sure. But they was getting married. That was their friends, and they said, "Look, we've seen what you've done. If we gave you a couple of quid, would you do mine?" I was like, "Just all right then. Okay." The whole time I was still at the ad agency. Had a baby. I'm working 5 days a week. And everything else. And then I was like, "Do you know what? This is pretty cool. I'm getting paid
to do what I love
to take pictures and video of people getting smashed up drunk." And just telling each other they love each other. Yeah. And at the end of it, when you give it to them, they freaking cry.
They're crying.
Give me a better job.
Yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Give me a better job.
You've succeeded by making people cry.
My job is to make people cry.
Yeah. Very similar.
Anyway, so I did that, and then, bless her, big shout out to Tina Green.
Tina, love Tina Green. Love Tina.
the wedding experience, I think, was either fairly new or had been going a little while. I could be wrong, Tina, correct me if I'm wrong. But we was at, here we go, Dartford. What's the gaff on the one-way system? Oh my God, Arcadia House, is it? Anyway, I can't remember.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was a wedding venue there.
Right, okay.
And they do wedding fairs. They did a wedding fair there. And my first wedding fair. And this is the time of DVD, my first ever wedding fair. And I had a single burner DVD. Right? And I sat up, right, recording 50 single burner DVDs to give out to people, right? Because there was no streaming, there was
Check
nothing.
out our website.
Do you
Yeah.
remember the business card ones?
Yeah,
I had
the little
them.
ones,
The little DVDs.
That's it.
Yeah. Couldn't get anything decent on them. A couple of minutes.
And that was my first wedding fair with Tina. And I think that was 2000. I want to say 2004, maybe 2005. I don't really know. It was a long
same time as I started.
It was a long time ago, and it just kind of just went from there, really.
Yeah.
And then there was a phase where I killed myself. I was doing literally 2 jobs. I was doing 5 days a week at the agency, but I was finished at the agency at 6, coming home for 7, jumping in the car, either editing or going to see clients. And then at the weekends,
going
and doing the weddings.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where I was,
That's a big step.
it was. And this is the weird thing. It was 2008. I remember it. Quit my job, and the week after, the market, 2008 stock market crash happened. This was the week after, and I was saying, "Are you a fucking idiot?" But I think at the time we was fairly well priced. I think we was beginning to get known in the industry by venues, and we was beginning to get known by other suppliers. And we was getting recommended.
When you say we, did you have a few?
Well, that was me and Lorraine, wasn't it? At the time?
Okay.
So it was just me really doing the majority of it. Lorraine was doing a bit of bookkeeping and some book design, maybe a bit of that really, but it was mainly bookkeeping.
So was it always photography or just video back then?
It was just video back then. It was just video. And then, it was just something, obviously, if you learn about ISO and you learn about shutter speed and you learn about f-stops, right?
Once you get that triangle,
one's moving, one's not, right? Okay. I think going from photography to video is a little bit harder.
Yes.
Personally.
I would say that.
Because you're not taking in the extra dimension of movement.
Yeah.
But they are based on the same principles, but they are 2 totally different mediums.
100%.
Because I find that I taught you, didn't I, how like the triangle, like the f-stop, everything like that, and I said, right, you could do this, and we worked together on that so you could do photography.
Yeah, because I started my life out on auto.
Everyone does,
because
you're shit scared.
I got married in 2000, and we went to see. We was going to have we had it filmed, our wedding filmed, and we went to Missing Link Productions, which isn't far from where you are based. They are around the sort of Bromley Sidcup sort of way.
This wasn't to me, by the way.
No,
I was 13 at the time.
Okay. That'd be wrong. Yeah.
And so they came and filmed it, but I was fascinated. Went to their studio, fascinated by it. I was doing adverts as well as weddings and things. But so when we went on holiday, we had the old Sony flip out. Do you know what I mean? We went to Mexico, filmed all of that, and then I created a video there from that. And then a couple of mates went, same as you, come and do my wedding.
Yeah.
All right then. So I got another camera, some shitty old Canon thing it was. I think my first half decent camera was like a Sony FX1 or something like that.
Yeah. No, I had the Sony, before it was the HD version, the grey one, I can't remember, VX2100 or whatever it was. Open the gate. Excuse me, there's a ceremony going over there. Gate opens. Hello, tape in. Okay, we're going to close the door. Okay, close the gate. Okay,
keep an eye on the time.
Thanks, ready, cheers, thank you. You learned about timing at weddings with those machines.
It was a nightmare. But just went from there really. Same as you. But then gradually, as it went on, I started thinking, actually, I've got to start taking this off auto and start learning about this stuff.
Yeah, I think
auto got you through it.
Of course.
And never in my 20-odd years of doing it, have I ever had a couple come back to me and go, oh, you got that lighting wrong, you got this wrong. No. They just want their day. Yeah, they just want their day.
I think once, making that initial move from auto to manual, it can be incredibly daunting.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially on a
But
wedding, you only get one go.
You do, but what you should also know is before you get to a situation, if you've been doing it long enough, your brain is already telling you what that light is.
Yes.
Right, okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
I know as I'm coming in from, if I'm inside, right, and I'm at ISO 800, right, okay, and I'm going outside, before I've got out there, my hands are already
Feel it.
reaching up to there.
Yeah.
They're
Flick,
putting it
flick,
down
flick.
to ISO 100 because I know that is what I am as soon as I'm
Yes.
outside. The other thing is as well is don't practice at a wedding.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's
It's
exactly
pretty
what I did.
straightforward, right?
So-
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, annoy your mates. Go out for a night.
Like I say, we film adverts and things like that, and that's the best time to do it when you've got a number of takes. You know,
Yeah.
practice this stuff.
I mean,
Don't do it at a
having
wedding.
kids as well. That for
Yeah.
me, with
Yeah.
Jess, that's a great way of just going, right. Okay, fuck it. I'm going for it. Listen, go aperture priority first if you want to.
exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
and
Right?
just
Like,
work
you don't
your
have to
way
go-
through
work
the
your way
session.
through
You don't have to go full on manual with
No.
everything. You just lose one thing.
Yeah,
you know?
but I think once you go into manual, it is a natural instinct of knowing. Listen, going up for group shots.
Yeah.
You know that your f-stop's going to change. You know, from going from shooting that to a cake.
Yeah.
It just automatically just happens. Do you know what I mean? But that's only through doing it
Over
and over and over and over and
again.
over and over
Absolutely.
and over again.
Yeah. It's when they're doing their speeches with a window behind them, a nice shiny window behind them.
Nice little backlight.
That's when you're like, I really should start learning manual.
Yeah. But listen, and that's, I always say, when you know that if you're half decent at your job, right, it's not when it's going right, it's when it's going wrong.
Yep.
That's what I've always said to him.
Yeah.
So he's going to start following this.
That's when you know that you are
Yeah.
any good at anything.
It's how you deal with situations.
Here we go. Were they out of order, were they?
Sacking. Messed up my awards.
I can't. My ADHD ain't dealing with that one in the middle.
Yeah, that was the drunk night, as I said. Yeah, I think that was one of us. I think literally got smashed up and dropped it. Anyway. So I thought we were talking about.
It's all about dealing with
It's
failures
the
and things like that,
challenges
you know.
and how you deal with it.
Yeah.
And he is a failure. So
listen, weddings are uncontrollable.
yes.
Okay, you're I get asked this all the time, right? It's what's your favourite venue? Right? Okay, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, it's the people that are there that make whatever that wedding is,
and it's your creativity as well,
and your involvement.
Yeah.
Your listen, reportage photographers are called that because they're in the background, right? Okay, they're not.
That's right.
Gathering
stealth.
people together.
Stealth.
They're not, they're in the ninja because that's what that particular client wants.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, as you can probably tell, I've got a big gob. I don't care, about raising the spirits and my voice at the same time to get what I need to get the job done.
Exactly.
Because I've got the girls at Cooling saying to me, tell dinner's at 10:04.
Yeah.
Right, okay?
And it's 4 o'clock.
And it's 4 o'clock. And the bride was 45 minutes late. Yeah. That's when you know you're good.
Yeah.
Because then you know in your head that you still want to give the opportunity for the bride and groom to have what I call canape and vape. It's canape and vape for 20 minutes. Right?
That's true.
Yeah. I want that. It's so important they have that time.
Yeah.
It's not as important because I'm the photographer or the videographer. I've got to get what they've paid me to get. But at the same time, if they're not enjoying their flipping day, what is the point of doing it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay. So
absolutely.
if I know she's 45 minutes late, I know that I've still got to fit in canape and vape. I've got to fit in an opportunity to get her side of the family pictures done, his side of the family pictures done or video done, the bridal party and them. Ideally all before dinner because dealing with drunk people after dinner.
I'll do it in a minute, mate. I'll be there in a minute.
Listen, I'm going to go to the toilet,
down
or the bride's done red wine down or anything else. So my goal always, whether if I'm just doing video, I can't control it. As videographers that there is
what the day is.
Yeah, but there's a process as well in terms of two creatives fighting over a client doesn't work. You need one lead.
You guys just follow us around. That's what it is. You just follow the photographer.
No, listen, photography, as I do both, I understand the process. Right, okay? Photography, a lot of it, unless it's reportage, is about setup.
Yep.
Okay, right? You're setting up the group shots to look nice, laying down the dress, holding the flowers, making sure the hair looks good, all that kind of stuff. Okay.
But then after
Video
that, after that, it's a split image, right?
that
So
you've got.
you literally can do this and have 20 images, whereas you guys have to set it up, make sure your angle's right, and then you're filming. Whereas I'm done within that 5 seconds. I'm like, next. And he's like, will you slow down? I need to get the shot.
I don't have a preference. People say to me, do you prefer photography or video? I don't have a preference. I love the mixture. I love not doing the same thing every single time. Different single venues. Like, for example, tomorrow I'm doing karaoke tomorrow. Right, okay?
Well, just karaoke.
Just karaoke tomorrow. Right, okay? So, great. I'm not, they're actually easier days. Karaoke, because I haven't got to film the full ceremony. I haven't got to film the full speeches. I'll get snapshots to tell the story of the day. But my busy time is just during photo time tomorrow. When everyone else is getting smashed up, I'm running around like a lunatic telling them they've got to send me to the bright side of the camera.
Is that what it is tomorrow?
So that's what I'm looking forward to it. It seems like it's going to be a good bunch. But I can say, when's this going out? It's not tomorrow, is it?
No, it won't.
She doesn't know. The bride
around July, August.
The bride doesn't know she's got a surprise karaoke tomorrow. So we're going to see how that goes down. How that's going to go, I do not know. But she's been in a few apparently, and the girl that's organised it, I did her wedding.
Right, okay.
And she wanted one and she couldn't afford it or something, so she paid for it for her, which is really nice. So, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
So have you actually been at a wedding and something horrendous has gone wrong and you've thought, shit, how do I get out
How
of
long
this?
you got? Listen,
how do you deal with that as well?
I think it depends what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think...
For me, it's been a battery that says it's got 85% on it, and then all of a sudden cuts out.
Again, but that's experience.
But then you've got another 2-3 cameras filming the speeches or whatever's going on.
Again, experience tells you, ceremony, fresh battery and cards.
Yeah.
So, as soon as you come to speeches, fresh batteries again. Because then you're at optimum. You can't do any more. Right, as long as you can't do any more, you're good.
Yep.
When it comes to
if
speeches,
you've got a multicam setup,
you've got to have multicam.
Exactly.
You've got to have
This
multicam.
single cam setup idea is petrifying to me.
I used to offer a package which was single cam, but in theory, I was only charging them for single angle.
Yeah.
I was even if I had to, I would stick another camera on the camera, like a GoPro as a back, anything to back it up. But I never had to use
both
them.
myself and Luke Driver, big shout out to Luke. We're a 4-cam setup at our weddings. For ceremony and speeches, it's 3.
Yes.
And then we've got the ronin obviously as well.
Exactly
and then there's the drone, mics and everything else. Listen, ceremony guys nowadays, again we're going off subject here, but because of social media, there are 2 shots that if we don't get, we're banging trouble. Right? The first has been there since time began, which is the old shot. Because the bride is in it, she doesn't get to see it. She doesn't get to see the flower girls come down. She doesn't get to see the bridesmaids fall over. She doesn't get to see her dad bawling his eyes out as he's walking her down. If she's lucky enough to have a dad, right? Okay, walking down the aisle, right? But the other one nowadays, it's raised its head. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and I call it cry cam. Right? Okay, right? He's on the group.
Yep.
Okay, right? Because if we don't get that reaction of him seeing her for the first time in the wedding dress because of the pressure of social media, okay, because it's everywhere now, right? Okay, it's kind of like standard, right, which it wasn't there before. It was like get the old shot, okay, now
get her, concentrate on her,
again, and that used to be fine because the groom always used to look forwards, right? He never used to look back.
No, that's right. Okay? Yes, that's right.
And
but
now
again, now they're telling him to look back. Which is great, but now, mate, I've now got a back of freaking it. So thanks.
Yeah.
So the multicam setup is so important, and again for speeches as well. Giving away stuff that we do, but it's all online to see. Speeches, I mean, I have a 3 camera setup for the speeches. I've won on the whole of Top Table.
That's exactly what we do.
So this not only are you catching the person speaking, but potentially if they're speaking about someone on Top Table, you've got the person they're talking about
close up of who's speaking,
crying her freaking eyes out, at Top Table,
Yeah.
And then that other cam getting the applauses, getting the reactions if you can,
and then the one the close up who's speaking,
and one the close up and speaking. Exactly what we do. Yeah. And a single cam setup for obvious reasons. Listen. We've all had technology fail on us. Every single person in the world at some point, whether it be a flipping remote control or a exercise bike, right? Okay, technology fails. The problem is not when it fails; it's if you haven't got something to replace it when it fails.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right, okay, so
Listen, Ryan.
honestly, dude, it's the best advice I can give you because it always happens when you don't want it to happen.
Yeah. Speeches.
Murphy's law.
Speeches, at least 3 cams.
It'll go wrong.
Yeah.
At least 3 cams, and for me, at least 5 mics.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a mic on each cam and 2.
I've been using these little Sony sticks.
That's what I use.
Yeah, man, they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Pop it in.
registrar, Bosch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reader, Bosch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish there was a white one.
For the well, I mean, we're
Down the
fortunate. We're fortunate because the bride and groom
They're so
face
close.
because they
Yeah.
face each
Yeah.
other, and you know,
Yeah.
she's looking at him. We're fortunate to get the vowels, the voices
Yes.
picked up on his mic. We're fortunate for that.
4 of them mics.
Unless it's 2 girls getting married, all right.
That's
So
very
then,
true.
mic up the registrar.
Oh, well, I do a registrar groom every time.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily use them every time. It all depends what the sounds come out like.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, sometimes it's good on.
I mean,
one of them.
audio is just as important as video.
Yeah,
you know,
it is these days.
It's you know,
It's more important if you're doing a cinematic style edit for them.
you get the
You know, where they
voiceovers
want the
and stuff.
voiceover
the
and
voiceover
stuff,
and stuff
you know.
like that. Yeah, I totally get it.
So how do you edit then? Is there a style that you have, like you put the as quick as possible?
Well, no, listen, like all of us. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, right? So, I tried to shoot in camera, right, as much as physically possible. And that includes for photography, it's slightly different, but because you can reframe afterwards if you like in photography. Video, I suppose you can in 4K, but with photography wise, I frame it. I position it, I straighten it as if I was shooting on film.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, because why do I want 50 pictures of the same thing?
Yep.
Right, okay, to edit, to go through.
Yep.
Right, okay. Yes, I get it, eyes closing and everything else. Shoot 10.
Yep.
Right, okay, shoot 10, but do them landscape, portrait, tight, wide. So
Yep.
you've got all these different variants.
Still
to
the
pick
same
from,
eyes.
but still different variants to pick
Yeah.
from and stuff like that, you know. And then video-wise, there is a bit of manipulation that you can do afterwards and everything else. So I try and shoot as much in camera as possible. Photography-wise, again, it's been made easier for us now. Lightroom, as you import, you can apply the filter. So if you've got a look or a style that you use consistently at every single wedding, I don't.
Yeah,
I think
was gonna say that.
I think the suit dictates the grade.
Yes.
Okay. Because most dresses are white, right? Most of them, okay? So they're always white. But what's the colour of the suit?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay? How is that affecting the colour and style of the wedding? And I could grade my pictures depending, because he's going to be in the majority of the pictures, what colour that suit is and how the grade comes out of the colour of that suit, you know? So I'm in Lightroom for photography, shooting in RAW, obviously. And then video-wise, I'm old school, mate. I'm still in Final Cut.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm pretty damn quick now at video editing.
That's the thing.
Do you know all the shortcuts? Because I will sit there and I know the shortcuts and I'll do it on my laptop.
Yeah,
and I don't use a mouse, I use that pad. He hates it.
P, B, V, C.
You literally go, done.
And it's so much easier. I know Da Vinci's starting to raise its head quite a little bit, but I don't think the timeline has got as many changeable options as what Final Cut is. So for Final Cut example, you can type a timeline and you can just dump everything you want in it, whether it's 725, 76 or 4K, okay? And it will handle it. It'll blow the footage up to make it look shit to match the timeline, but it'll do it. I don't think DaVinci Dissolve does that. I think you have to go in and have it correctly. I could be wrong, though.
No,
Obviously,
think you're right.
Premiere is very exciting because of the AI features that they're talking about. Listen, would I love it
I'm
if
3
there was
times slower.
if there was a fire hydrant in a piece of video that I could select in generative fill and go,
Get rid of it.
get rid of that fucking fire hydrant, and it'll take the fucking and put it in as well. And listen, we've now got a shot that at a wedding venue, there's always a fire hydrant behind the sign of the register table that you can't remove because of fire regulations and everything else. They can do it.
Could you not edit in your program and then put it in afterwards and just do the little edited bits like
The
that?
hard thing about it is if you kept it still, you had a camera that kept it still, you might be able to get away with moving that hydrant. It's the movement.
Yeah, so
the movement.
yeah, absolutely right. So what I tend to do, you're absolutely right, mask it, take the frame into Photoshop, take the frame, clear it out in the frame, take the frame, put it back into the timeline, drop it on over the mask. You're sorted.
Exactly what. If the camera was still,
and I've done that.
If the camera was still,
exactly right. As soon as you have movement to it,
then it's out.
that goes out the window. So
and there's no way you can try and match it manually.
No, it'll never happen.
Oh
Never
God,
never
that
happen.
would take.
Well, that's why they have motion control cameras. Like that's how Star Wars was shot. The first Star Wars, they had a big model on a blue screen. Then it wasn't green, and they had a camera on the motor. And they just did the passes 6 times, I think it was, to get the same shot 6 times. Yeah. Then they took film, laid the film on top of each other, got the composition, no After Effects, man, old school, laying it down, frame by frame by frame.
Even the titles, you know, the titles at an angle.
Yeah, that's how they filmed it.
They actually filmed the words going up.
I do think that sometimes maybe these old school things will come back around again.
The thing is,
with
like,
I know it sounds
you look at Yoda in Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, then look at Yoda in the prequels. Yeah. He's far better as a puppet.
100%.
And that's why they went back to the puppetry for the last 3 they did. They went back to puppetry.
I think there are some still, I think we need to shine a light onto, obviously, not shine a light because the light's proper on them, but Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, they are, and Spielberg, I suppose, as well, are still the ones, and Tom Cruise even to some extent, are still pushing the old school, go to the cinema, watch it on a big screen, watch it with surround sound, to the point where both Oppenheimer and Dune both come out on 70mm per film. Yeah. I mean, they're shooting, well, in Christopher Nolan's case, they're shooting on IMAX. I'm assuming processing digital because that's the way editing's done nowadays. So they scan each piece of film.
That's it, yeah.
And then they're outputting it to DCP for cassettes to go into the cinema, but then somehow... they're then running that off and creating a platter the size of this room for a 70mm perf of Oppenheimer. So I think you're right in regards to what they're doing is the old school ways of filmmaking are still wanted. Yeah. Unfortunately, not this generation potentially, but us old school.
But you look at the old
cinephiles. Are still interesting.
You look at the old films that have been converted to 4K, like Zulu. Zulu's immaculate.
Yeah, Luke, big shout out to Luke, just bought me for my, I won't tell you what age birthday, Aliens on 4K, right? It's like watching a different film, man. Now, if you watch Aliens on Disney Plus, listen, grain on film has been there since time began, right? Okay, right? It's not just digital, right? Okay, grain has been there on film. It exists in film. It exists in digital. But the grain on Aliens on Disney Plus is just, you know, I think of it now. It's unwatchable, right? Okay, this 4K. I watched it on my PS5. I watched the 4K transfer, dude. There is not a single solitary piece of grain in the entire film. You can see the pores on her face. So what they've done,
take it from the original again?
They took the original film, took it back, they've cleaned up every single frame on this freaking film.
That's what I did with Star Wars, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think they've used AI technology on this. Again, this is the AI stuff coming in, whether you agree with it or not. And what they've done is stunningly beautiful. They've taken, I mean, I'm slightly biased because it is my favourite film of all time, but what they've done in preserving, preserving the quality of this, you know, I mean, some of the shots are really bad, dude. I mean, there's you've probably seen it. It's been a while since
the original Alien.
But I mean, this has got rear screen projection in it, right? Okay, so rear screen projection. They put a projector screen up, and they'll show on the screen the ship crashing, but put then all live actors in front of it running away from it. Right? Okay, now the 4K transfer is good in some ways, but it's not good in that instance. You know, like oh my god, just sitting there going, that's a fucking projection. You know? But the close-up shots, the action in it. I mean. The old school ways of movies being made now is gone. You know, you can just look at what's happening now with the volume and what's being used in shooting Star Wars and the Marvel and stuff.
It's also like what I don't know what they're called. Those screens, those
the volume.
Is that what that is?
It's the volume. So basically, what they've done now, they've took OLED screens.
That's it.
And they've created a virtual set.
Yeah.
And the way that the camera moves is that it's tied into the set.
And the actors are actually, the actors won't be just acting in green.
I mean,
they've actually got a physical environment that they can help them act with.
Exactly that. The Batman is a great example.
My nephew uses one in London. He goes to London Film School.
Our son had to do a little bit because he was doing a Star Wars film.
It doesn't take long now. It's technology, big technology, always starts big. And then, I mean, look at us now, guys. We're sitting in a studio that only maybe 10 years ago was only achievable by the biggest media company.
Now we're just sitting there.
Now anyone can do it.
Yeah.
You know, anyone.
It also helps the actors. Like going back to my son, like he said, there was a part where they're like, right, there's some, I don't know what ships they are, the triangle ones in Star Wars. He said,
Star
right,
Destroyer.
they will be overhead now. And they actually panned the camera up and they went, this is what it looks like. And he went, oh, right, okay. So we knew what he was doing. He knew how to interact with it. And it was amazing.
Again, I think there's like any medium. Was that another one?
That's it. Are we done?
That's the last one.
Is that all of them? We covered 8 years.
That's the last one.
We've covered 8 years, mate. I think there could be a solid 8 years there, isn't it? Have we covered a solid 8 years with no gaps? There's two next to each other.
Just don't mix them up.
We've got 15, 16.
There you go. Look, we can add them all together.
There we go. We ain't done bad, mate, have we? Hey, we've done all right.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And honestly, actually, you know, going off subject now, talking about the William, I do believe in that. I think that friends in the industry is so important,
without a doubt.
Right, having competitors, which I like to prefer called colleagues, if I can be honest with you. It does so much good, right? In terms of like keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is a great thing.
Well, like when we went to the first wedding awards, you guys were there and you were 20 strong and you were loud and we would just turn up like, oh shit, you know, we're competing with this company. So then the next year we were like, we've got to go, let's up it, let's up our game and, you know, try and beat them.
Yeah, and also friends are also
working together.
Yeah, you know. But also it's having a drink at the Kent William Awards is a great example.
Exactly.
But also when you need help.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
When you need help, like tell. Like, I mean, I've done this before. We've
come
done
down here.
We've done it before. Both of us. The messages of tell. Got a girl coming to you.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Can you do it? Simon, I've got a girl coming to you. I can't do it. Can you do it? You know, and that's what it's all about.
My auto reply on my emails has your details on it. It does. It does. Because when I say unfortunately I can't make the date, but here's a couple.
The work one's not the personal one. But that's what it should be.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it should be. It should be. We're very lucky. We're all working in industry where, you know, 99.9% of the time on a day everyone's happy. Okay. Name another job that has that.
That's right.
Well, we always said to each other, you know, even in a recession, people still get married in a recession. Yeah. So we were on the verge of sort of like
of dumping my engineering role.
You know, actually going full-time Cherrywood and then boom, COVID hit.
COVID hit. And that's the only thing I've known in 20 odd years to ever stop weddings.
I think, I mean, while on the subject, I think we are still in the COVID hangover now. I think that there's definitely not as many weddings as there were. Definitely not.
No.
It's the market is also incredibly competitive now since the invention of mirrorless cameras. I think that there's a lot more photographers and videographers out there.
Yeah.
And you'll laugh at the next bit, right? But I think it is a factor. No one was hooking up and shagging in 2021.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
No one was going out clubbing. No one was going out clubbing. And in fact, and I'm unfortunately I'm a victim of this myself. People broke up because of COVID. They didn't get married. They had enough of sitting in each other's pockets for sometimes. I mean, look at us. We didn't work for 18 months properly, did we?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that.
And bridesmaids were coming in wearing masks, matching masks to the dress.
You know, some of them needed it, bro. But anyway, it's just. I think that we are still in some type of COVID hangover. I don't think the winning industry is back to firing on all cylinders yet. Don't get me wrong. I've got work. I'm doing okay, like you guys. You know, I've got enough there to keep me going. I'm very happy with my bookings for this year and next year. And 26. I've got stuff for 26 already. You know,
26,
which is great. Which means there's that's the great thing about our job, is that if you can see things ain't going right, you have time to sort it out.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, because you'll know people book a year or 2 years in advance. So if you can look at now and you can look at 25 and go, right, hang on a minute,
we need
to do something here, right? And you still have an opportunity to do so. If you get to January, you're kind of, you know,
we've got to push this.
You get a projection of what your earnings are going to be for like 2 years in advance, which is
absolutely good. And I mean, listen, the numbers have dropped. I think that not many people are getting married. I think the market is saturated with a lot of photographers and videographers nowadays.
Yeah.
And
some professional, some not.
Looking at
And we'll leave that there.
We all know.
And I just, I think that if there's any advice I can give to a client, is do your research, man. It doesn't cost you anything but time.
And I would say recommendations as well.
Yeah,
Always
listen,
go for...
absolutely. Listen, again, sometimes that fails, unfortunately. I would always say, if you're looking for a photographer or a videographer, the first thing is the most important of all is, do you like them?
Yeah.
Because they are with you, right? From you in your knickers, right? To, you know, falling over drunk after you first start smashed up on the floor. Okay. I was making this point clear, I do not film people in their knickers, unfortunately.
No, but if you want someone that does.
We are with you.
Simon will do it for you.
I'll do it, but you know, we're with you all day, man.
But that's the good thing about being a female photographer.
Yeah.
They're like, don't worry about it. You've got it. You've seen it, and that's
why you've come up with this idea of this podcast, which you've suggested. But I'm the one that does all the bloody legwork.
I'm the idea.
So people get to know us.
The woman with the plan.
People they sort of get to know a bit of your character before we start, and that's what it was all about. Because every time we did a wedding,
right?
we act like a bit of a double act. Do you know what I mean? We have a lot. I slag her photography off in front of us.
I slag myself off.
But the thing is, we slag each other's workmanship off, off in front of the couples, and they just laugh, and they're laughing their heads off. Do you know what I mean? You know,
listen, a banter for me.
You've got to have banter.
It's a massive part
and the photos change. That they change. They're not as rigid. No. And what do they say towards the end of the day? They say, wish you got to know you beforehand. Yeah. And this is hopefully.
Listen, as I said before, the job satisfaction in this job is potentially, you know, unmeasurable. You know, you get the comments you get back from people of killed it. You know, you was great on the day. People loved you.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking after looking after kids with their patience, give them a bit of patience, you know. Our kids on the spectrum, and you know, you took your time.
Mum do the
I always carry an old camera. And let the kids use it.
My trick, Smarties and lollipops, bro. Literally, and that's just for the groom. If you behave yourself, you get a sweetie. Okay. Listen,
we let them go and film.
The kids are just, you know, depending on how old they are and everything else, and whether they're sticky to their parents or they were just like, you know,
free running wild.
You know, what's the I forget the certain name of it, but there's a you know, just running free and feral. You know, which is what I was. You know, it's getting. I think doing the job for a while, it's about knowing when to step in and when to shut up.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a time when there's a line. You know. Alcohol and food is another one. You know, like, have a drink. No, mate.
No, you got
listen, do you get smashed up when you're on the tools on the building site? Yes, I do tell. Listen,
that's different.
That is my office.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And because TDH is recommended for nearly every major wedding venue in Kent, I've always got two bosses. You know, I've always got two bosses, and you are only as good as your last wedding.
Do you still get nervous now?
100%.
Got to be.
And if you don't, then stop.
Exactly.
Stop.
What I always say.
I wouldn't say it's nerves.
The day I wake up and think, got to make sure I've got everything, batteries right, all this right, and once that ceremony's done, I'm a little bit easier for the speeches. But once that ceremony's done, I can calm. The day that stops, I will stop. I'll give up.
The wedding's like that for me. Okay, so it's bridal prep. Boys arriving, guests arriving. If you're lucky enough to have a bride reveal, ceremony, and then the top of the pyramid is photo time.
Okay,
right? That is when it is right. fucking half hour late. Right, okay. Additional to that, they haven't told us there's owls that are going to be coming along in a minute.
In the rings.
There's a chimney freaking sweep, right? Okay, and there's 3 donkeys, right? Okay,
And singing waiters.
the singing waiters and speeches are first.
Yes, that's it.
Right, okay, right.
Speeches are first.
Because the cameras put themselves in position for speeches, don't they? Right.
I hate that.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about, you know, time management,
Yeah.
how good you are at your job and knowing what to do first and when to do it.
You have to be able to think quick on your feet as
Oh,
well.
mate.
Like if you've got
and
a
be a people
beautiful,
person.
beautiful sunny day
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the worst grey cloud
Yeah.
comes over, you're
Yeah.
thinking, shit, I
Yeah.
now can't do any photos
Yeah.
outside.
Plan
I've got
B.
to think quick on my
Plan
feet.
B.
Where can I do it?
Plan B.
And
It's always having a plan B.
Yeah.
And when a couple say to me, I have no idea of venues, I say, think about if it's raining and think about if you can get any good shots inside.
Inside,
Because
yeah.
sometimes,
I always
sometimes
embrace
them venues are amazing outside
and
nothing inside.
Yep, absolutely.
And vice versa.
I actually think that's pretty much all venues.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
there is only, I could count on one hand that I think that give you an opportunity in the space to shoot big family group shots and everything inside.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there are not many places
No, there's not.
that actually can do it.
No.
And if they can, it's normally where the ceremony's been.
Yep.
Right,
Yes.
so you've got
So
to
you've
move.
already
Move
You've got to
on.
move
stuff.
everything out of the
Yep.
way, and then if you're a professional, really, you've got to put it back again.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Right? You know,
Which is the
you can't just go,
annoying-
give it to the fucking Toastmaster and get out of here. Like, you know, don't mean that, me, Julie. I love you. But you know, just you're only as good as your last wedding. And at every wedding, I've got 2 bosses. I'm not going to say the groom because he's happy wife, happy life.
Oh,
if
yeah.
if you treat the bride the way she deserves to be treated on her wedding day, give her the service that you promised to give her, he is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
He
yeah.
is like that, mate. He
Yeah.
he actually couldn't give a monkeys. He's more interested in Marbella,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, than helping him planning in any type of wedding, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but as long as I keep her sweet and keep her happy and promise I'll do everything that I'm going to do, and then keep everything on time for the venue, right? Okay, that's all you've got to do for the venue. To just get there, get the Bible out, and say, right, I've got a 2:00 ceremony, guys. I've got dinner at 4:10, and I've got speeches after. They're like, yeah. So I call that a 2, 4, 6, 8. Very straightforward. Ceremony at 2, dinner at 4, speeches at 6, first dance at 8.
Perfect.
And if you stick to that, you're good.
Yeah, the ultimate break ruiner for us is a singing waiter, isn't it?
I don't mind them because I hate sitting around at weddings.
Oh, right, okay.
I actually go
I'm
out
old.
my mind.
See, I'm like that. I'm like, right, we need to do this. We need
Yeah,
to.
yeah, it's not often like me and Luke. Sometimes we shoot together. We'll go back and redo our externals. So, for example,
Yeah.
we got there in the morning
Yeah.
and
It's not fully made up.
and it's not cloudy. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Okay, but we know the rest of the day's sweet. We'll go back out when during everyone's having their dinner, and we'll go back out and we'll go, right, let's shoot this again, right? So we can really listen. I always say when I sit to all the guys when we was editing, the first picture that they see and the first shot they see on their video or photos is the most important thing out of the whole thing because it sets the mood
tone, yeah.
and the tone for everything. If the first shot of the bride, right, is sitting there getting her makeup done with 64 chins, right, okay, she's not going to be fucking happy.
No.
Right,
Never
okay?
start
But
off
the
with
opening
that.
shot of the photography or the video is her sign outside that says "Welcome to the wedding of the." That is a welcome to the photos as well. You know, it sets the mood and the tempo.
And
for
the same
everything.
for the last bit as well. If
Yeah,
you're going to
absolutely.
end it on her going because she's pissed
Yeah,
out.
I always go outside. Last shot is an outside shot of the
yeah.
venue, just to go right the end. You know, and it puts definitive ending on the photography and the video.
I don't actually think you two have actually worked together, have you?
No.
Never.
don't
Poor,
work together.
poor sod has never had the pleasure. Listen, you know, it's weird because I do both. I get to work with photographers mainly. I have worked with a couple of videographers, but because I've got people that I recommend all the time, and people recommend me, and because I don't know, really. I'm lucky I get to meet lots and lots of people. So I know all the photographers. I know most of the videographers, where other photographers don't know other photographers.
Yeah.
Right? Because they never get to mix and socialise with them. They are competition. They are the enemy.
See, I do, obviously, because
you do video as well.
Yeah, the thing is, I've never seen it like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen it as the enemy.
Nor do I, bruv. But listen, we're quite
'Cause the first time we
outgoing
met-
people, aren't we?
First time we met, you got the awards, and I've come up, congratulated you, and then Chris Milton come up and went, "That's a really nice thing to do."
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know why I wouldn't do that. You know?
As we said it before earlier in the podcast, competition is good. Competition is good for everyone.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
if you don't have competition, you get too comfy, don't you? Right? You think
Nothing improves.
Nothing improves. You get stale. You start losing interest in the job. And I've always said to myself, I'm 22 years in August. I still freaking love it. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously I've stopped chatting up the bridesmaids now. I've moved on to the mums. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping to move on to the nans within the next couple of years. Love a gilf.
Gilf.
But listen,
Yeah.
it's an industry that's always changing, always developing. Social media's got a massive part of that. So you've got to be on the social media trend. But I'm not doing TikTok. Sorry, I'm not doing it. And if you don't keep on top of everything, then you will get left behind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
'Cause that's the newspaper these days.
100%.
That's the newspaper.
Even they're dead.
Yeah.
Mainstream media, full stop. I mean, listen, I watch live TV for football.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I watch live TV. I don't watch it for the news anymore.
I remember
No,
waiting
don't
for
watch
Channel.
Don't watch it for.
I remember
don't
waiting
watch
for Channel 4 to
don't
come on.
watch. I might watch the occasional documentary that might be interesting.
But it's really everyone's got to be talking about it for that to happen.
100%.
Though, right?
I mean, I think the likes of ITV, maybe not the BBC because they're subsidised by the TV licence, but ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, they're in real trouble because no one is watching live TV anymore.
No.
It's all
This generation, my daughter's generation, do not watch it in any way, shape, or form. They're the ones that are coming through, like they're the ones that are coming through for weddings.
Yeah.
So I think wedding fairs, are they going to be around
Yeah.
for the time that they have? Are they going to be still required? I think so, personally, depending on what you're selling, because you're buying into the person.
Yeah, you need
I
to buy
like
the
them.
person. Yeah.
No, that's liking's not the right word. But I
do them.
I don't mind doing them because there is that interaction that you have with clients that you don't have online. I've took a booking yesterday. Gil messaged me yesterday. Can you do this date? Yeah, sweet. I'm booking you. Who are you?
Yeah.
I know.
Who are you?
And then you have to
do I want to work for you? Do you know what I mean? Do I even want to work for you?
That is
are
the
you,
case. Though,
are
some
you
of them-
an Instagram nutcase, right? That want your first cross on films, and I'll do it. I will do it. But I think that the way that we all get our work now has changed dramatically.
Absolutely. Even from when we first started, it was sort of like, okay, we've got a little booking, we've spoken to this person, we know what this person looks like. Yeah. But now it's sort of like, if we don't know them, we have to go and find a picture of them so we know what they look like on the day.
We're an hour and a half. Are you still all right?
Yeah. I'm going to be cracking on, aren't we? I'm into that. Well,
it goes as long.
No. Yeah, if we do another 10, and
for us, it lasts as long as it lasts, mate. 10, so it's only you if you need to get going.
If I could be somewhere for 12:30, I'll be happy.
Right, okay, mate.
I forgot what we was talking about then, but I think that the industry and wedding fairs and everything else, it's there for the moment, but I think that it will change.
I think it will change. I
think it will change, like everything.
But
I love them because it does give you that, and also, gives me a chance to see people like you. Do you know what I mean? I don't get to see.
No, that's right.
I mean,
Right, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you divorced yet? No.
The thing is, everything you've said on this podcast, we can relate with.
Absolutely.
99% of
I
it.
think most people in
because we're in the same industry.
Yeah. And this is actually an unforgiving industry, right? Okay, in many ways. In that, I think probably most industries now that if you don't do your job, what you're going to say you do, letting people down, or just like not fulfilling what you've said you're actually going to do for them, mate. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 2 seconds to destroy it.
Don't turn up on someone's wedding. Jeez.
And there are a lot of clients out there that, unfortunately, because we're last, they haven't had a great wedding experience in terms of planning it, organising it, letting it down. And because we're last on delivery, we sometimes get the brunt of it.
Yeah,
okay. And I get it. And but that person that did that to you ain't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We used to be last on order as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we got engaged. So let's get a ring, let's get a venue, let's get a dress, let's get a photographer.
Last thing,
Let's get a photographer. Have we got any money left over?
Yeah, for videographer.
Should we have it filmed? But now I think it's gradually coming to the
I
front.
took a booking. I did a wedding fair about a month ago, and this woman came in. She don't know why she's still at a wedding fair 2 weeks before a wedding. Who goes to a wedding fair 2 weeks before?
I know.
She was at this wedding fair. Really nice couple. Got on with them. My sort of people. Just hit it off. And she looked at him and she went, "I want it. I want it." You know. And it was a Parker wedding, mate. You know, it was at Cooling. Always is at Cooling. But it was really nice people, my sort of level. So the lastminute.coms, they do a...
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever, like, for video, and not so much for video, but for photography, do you ever sort of think sometimes when you do these venues over and over again, you have to try and be a little
Spice
bit
it
more
up.
creative sometimes,
100%.
otherwise it gets a bit
I'm
like
always
a conveyor
trying to
belt.
find something new.
Yeah.
Always trying to find something new. If I haven't done it before, I'm doing it because, again, it brings the style stuff into it. Listen, you know, when you become a recommended supplier for a venue, it's because the venue trust you. They know that you're going to be on time. You're not going to fuck them about. You're not going to be this photographer that...
Demanding.
Yeah, you know...
we don't even demand to be fed.
No, I don't.
We just want to know.
I don't even put it in my contract.
We just say,
No.
will
We'll feed
refreshments
ourselves.
be...
I say my first... Listen,
Yeah.
August,
As
like
long
last
as we know.
year, I did 11 weddings in 13 days. Right, okay, right? How many times can I eat chicken and potatoes in a day?
Exactly, yeah. This year, we keep getting invited to the table, one of the tables.
I did last Tuesday, and I dealt with it. I'm not a guest, but I dealt with it. I sat there with a load of people I didn't know, and you're always the centre of conversation.
Yeah.
You're always the centre.
Oh, so I want it, and you're like,
Yeah, so how long have you been doing this for?
and you just sort of sit down and like,
But nearly
how do
every
you know the
wedding
bride
this
and
year,
groom?
nearly every wedding this year, we're invited to the table.
Yeah. Listen,
I don't know why I've done that. I don't know why I did that.
It's a lovely gesture, but it brings us back to the line that we was talking about. Okay, do you take canape and vape, canopies?
Yeah.
Do you take a canape when you're working? For me personally, no. Right.
Yeah.
For me personally, right. Okay. For
I
me,
can't
no,
take 'em.
right? Okay.
No.
Right?
Can't take 'em.
Right. Do you drink any kind of alcohol?
No.
No.
Right. No.
No.
Right. If you finish the job, right, and the cameras are down there in the van, and the father of the bride, right, won't
Wants
have
to
it because you know
buy
what they're
your
fucking
drink. Yeah.
like, right? Especially if you get a
Absolutely.
geezer father of the bride because he's old school. Right? I know them. I know what they're like, and the old school in me will reciprocate. Okay.
Yep.
If he said, "Tell, please come have a drink with me," then yes, I probably would. Right, but
Absolutely.
it'll be a shandy because I've got to drive home.
Yeah.
Okay. The line. I mean,
I've even been offered a tip.
well, I took a tip last
And I
week.
can't-
don't
I can't
mind it.
take
No,
them.
no. Listen, I
take
turned
them.
it back. But the best man said to me, "Tell," and it was a good excuse. He gave me a drink, and he said, "Tell, you don't turn down a groom on his wedding day, right?"
Oh, right.
So I was like, "Okay,
Okay.
right." But I ended up giving it to the kid anyway. But anyway, but you know, I get
I was
it.
like,
I
mate,
get
you've
it.
paid for this.
Yeah, I
service.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But listen, I'm a bit like that myself, right? Okay, if I was ever to get married again, and I won't, but if I did, right? Okay, first of all, I'd use the people that I know because I know if the job's going to get done properly. But
He's only said that because he knows he's never getting married.
I'll never fucking get married again. I ain't never getting married again. But having that is really important.
Do you ever get the wedding fairs and stuff like that? How much for one day?
Oh, mate, the one day thing.
Yeah.
I can see that grind your gears.
It's hit him, look.
No, listen, I take it as people are naive. And that's
Yeah,
not as a term that is meant in any kind of offence in any way, shape or form. Listen, what you're paying for is not one day, right? We talked about it earlier. What you're paying for is knowledge and experience, right? What you're paying for is when the shit hits the fan, right?
We can get
What is this geezer going to do to sort it out?
Yep.
Okay, because you're the person they look to for that. Okay. Additional to that, you know, and this brings us back to there's editing as well, which is a massive factor, obviously. But I think people understand that. What I think people think they understand is how expensive it is to buy a decent camera, one camera and lens, right? Okay, one camera and lens. So my R5. what I use for photography. The body is, correct me if I'm wrong here in the chats below, won't it, afterwards in the comments. I believe it's about £5.5 grand. Right? And that's just the body.
Yep.
Right, okay. I use the 28 to 70 f2 full length for the range of the lens, right? Which means it's £3 just for the lens. Right, okay. So that's £8, right, on just one camera. Yeah. Okay, with one lens.
It's like your baby that you want to protect.
Listen, different photographers do for lenses. I know that the fashionable thing at the moment for photographers is a 35 and 85. Okay, right. But I'm old school. I still love my 70 to 200.
I do.
Right, okay.
I do.
I'm sorry, I do. Right, because it gives you stuff you just can't get on an 85 and 35. Okay. Because anyway, I'm going to it. So, you know, the costs. Right, then let's get into the video. We talked about this before, right?
I've got a GH5, a GH6, an S5.
Right, so there's £10 there already.
Yeah.
Right, okay, without lenses.
Without lenses,
without the tripods, without the audio and everything else. Right, okay. So listen, that's alarm bells ringing. Okay, if someone's offering to you a photography service or a video service, I don't want to say sub £1,000, you know, but you know, I'm VAT registered as well. Right, okay. So you know, if you take into consideration. I think, you know, arguably 30% is a profit, right? Okay, right. If you take in consideration, 30% profit is ideally what you do, because 20% of that you've got to give to the government, right? Okay, just so you know, right? Okay, right. So take into consideration the wedding fare that I've just paid for to meet you.
Yep.
Okay, the website that I've paid for to show you my work, and then put all the work I've paid for to put on there. The insurance. The cameras, you know,
even the PPL license,
and then the day's work, the editing, VAT, corporation tax. Right, okay. If you are paying sub £1,000, right, okay, right.
How are you even profiting? We've actually sat and worked it out and worked out how many hours, and we don't even get minimum wage.
No. Once you work out the hours,
when you say that to people, they're like, "Oh, okay."
This, you've got to love what you do. Okay. You're never going to get rich in this industry unless you own a venue.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in that instance, I think nowadays even the venues are finding it harder nowadays because there's so many of them.
Yep.
Less people are getting married. People are wanting to spend less at weddings now. I've literally just had a message for another Twilight wedding. Not realising
thinking they're going to get a discount.
Listen, let's not get into the Twilights, okay? Right?
That's another podcast.
Listen, that's a whole nother podcast.
Still expecting exactly the same video.
And listen, it's the same amount of work with dinner removed.
Yeah.
Right, okay? And it's less time to do it because listen, I'm going to use my mate's example as a wedding. This is your fault, okay? But I'm saying this right now on camera, okay? My best mate got married last year, okay, right?
Oh, that's flashing. Why is that flashing?
Because it's running out of time.
It's going to run out.
We're going to go back real quick. Run out of time. We've done the whole podcast. We've run out. She had a Twilight ceremony. Ceremony was at 4:30. She turned up at 5:30. Now, if it was a normal 2 o'clock ceremony, I could make that up.
Push,
Is that finished? Is that all finished?
I don't know.
It must have been.
Is it still running, mate? Is it still saying record on top?
I don't know.
It's got an internal one.
We've stopped after 10 minutes.
No, it hasn't.
Okay, that's got to be the end anyway.
Still going.
It's still going.
It's still saying record. Okay, that's all right. I've
Okay.
never had that do that before. You've run out of bloody 64.
We'll close it anyway, so we'll get the anyway. So yeah, listen.
We have to squash everything in to a Twilight wedding in about 4 hours instead of
less
about
time.
10.
So if I have a 2 o'clock ceremony, if she's 40 minutes late, it's not ideal. Okay, it's not.
But you can
sort it, especially if you've got a summer solstice wedding. Right? Okay, if you're getting married June, July, August, right?
Please be late.
Well, no, but you can make up the time.
You
can make up the time. But when Cheryl turns up at 5:30 instead of 4:30 and dinner's at 6:30, it causes problems.
So you have to then go through ceremony. You have to literally drag her out.
I pulled out the car by her hair, by drone actually. I tied the hair to the drone, ripped her out the car. Now, listen, it was my best friend, so... One of my best friends. It was one of my best friends. So the pressure was on even more because you want to really want to do the best job possible.
Absolutely. Anyway, if anyone wants to find you, where can they find you?
Lewisham Police Station. You can find me in the old days. You can find me at TDH Media. So it's Tango Delta Hotel Media.co.uk. Facebook, Instagram. I ain't doing TikTok. You check out your venues. I'm a supplier for most venues, so I'm on the recommended supplier list for most of them. And listen, if you get married, give us a shout. I'm at most wedding fairs in Kent because I love giving up my Sunday.
I think he's just bragging now, blimey.
No, not at all. Listen, as I said before, I say it again. I said it before, I say it again. Life moves pretty fast. No, it's the wrong thing. I said it before, I say it again. You're only as good as your last wedding. And if you feel that you didn't give it 100% and that you didn't fulfill everything you said that you was going to do, and you turn up on time and everything else, don't do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Always
so
a pleasure to
All
see
the best,
you, mate.
man. See you on the circuit.
Yeah.
See, I knew he'd have no trouble talking. He likes to chat.
It's all the alcohol.
He's run it out.
Yeah, done it.
What are you doing? Not finished yet?
No. He's got to do a close.
Why have you just done that?
He's got to do a close. I think he might do. I think he's probably going to do a thumbnail or something.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Bye. That's it.
Catch you later, Ben and Ted. Catch you later.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, man. No problem, man. I swear. What's it?
This podcast has been brought to you by Snugdubs Campervan Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk. This podcast was brought to you today by Austin's Eatery on Station Road, Strood.
Try the Viking Challenge.